On to Newcastle, Paul. It looks like Martin Dubravka is Saudi bound. Could you see Newcastle making a big move for James Trafford, potentially even in January?
Well, they're going to have to replace him, aren't they? Because Nick Pope's injured. So you look at the squad that they've got. You saw the game this week against Arsenal. He looked very emotional afterwards. Dubravka, he looked like he was saying goodbye, didn't he? Looked like he was playing his final game for Newcastle. And I think Eddie Howe was quite pertinent in his interview afterwards in his post-match press conference. He said, look, if it's down to me, I don't want to lose the player. So that gave you a little insight into he's not really having much choice as to who's leaving the football club at the moment because of PSR and FFP rules. They're going to have to balance the books. I think if they get a good lump in for Dubravka, it's probably an offer that they can't turn down. He's going to a club in Saudi, Al Shabab, where Vita Pereira came from, the new Wolves manager. He's just left them. They've just brought in Fatih Terim, the old Turkish manager. Won many titles with Galatasaray. Had a lot of success with the Turkish national team. And I think he's going to a club that's going places in the Saudi Pro League. But as far as Newcastle go, they're going to have to replace. Nick Pope's injured again, he's out for a while. So James Trafford's a good option. I do think he struggled a little bit in the Premier League last year, though, with Burnley. I think his decision making at times let him down. You have to excuse me today. He got the old flu that's going around. But yeah, I think he made errors leading to goals last year. Struggled in the Premier League. But I think this year in the Championship he's been excellent again. So he's certainly going to be a goalkeeper who's on their radar. Very good upbringing, if you like. Manchester City Academy. Went to Burnley, wanted to play games. I'd struggle to think that Burnley would let him go at this stage of the season, though, with the push that they've got to try and get in the Premier League. Financially, what they get for the goalkeeper now as against the financial reward of getting into the Premier League, I think it would cost a lot of money, and I don't think Burnley would be willing to do the deal.
And we know Newcastle are looking to bring in another centre back, whether it be in January or this coming summer. Pete, could you see Fikayo Tomori coming to St James's Park?
Yeah, he's an interesting name, Tomori. Would tick a lot of boxes for Newcastle. He's got Premier League experience, left-sided as well. I think obviously a lot will depend on what AC Milan want to do with him. Maybe about a month ago, if we had been talking about this, I think there was a real chance that Tomori could have left the San Siro because he wasn't playing regularly under the former manager Paulo Fonseca. I think he had been finding himself on the bench for most of the games, but now Sergio Conceição's replaced Fonseca at the San Siro. It seems like it's a clean slate for everybody, and Tomori has been back in the team. He started in the Italian Super Cup semi-final and also started in the final against Inter Milan, which AC Milan went on to win. And obviously it looks like Tomori could be back in favour, so that would make it more difficult to try and prize him away from AC Milan as well. But yeah, he obviously has got good experience from his time in the Premier League with Chelsea as well. Been in and around the England squads in the past as well, so he's a top defender. Look, we know this Newcastle search for a new defender has been going on since the summer transfer window when they weren't able to bring anyone in. They missed out on Mark Gay when they made a long protracted search to try and lure him away from Crystal Palace, which they weren't able to do. Tomori's a top player, but I just think now maybe that he's back in the team at Milan, it could be more and more difficult to try and prize him away. So maybe Newcastle might have to look elsewhere to bring in that centre back that Eddie Howe would like to add to his squad.